Good morning and welcome to Unity of Greater Hartford. And my name is Reverend Christine Boylan. We're going to begin the service at 10:30. So if you're here early, wonderful. I'm looking to see if anyone joined us yet. Yes. Hi, Joanne. So we always open up a little bit early, and if you come early, then this is a time to remind you to go to the website. And on the website, near where they're talking about today's service, there's a bulletin. So you can open that, you can download that, and that allows you to follow along with the service a lot better. So please take the time to do that. And certainly if you're up there, you can just hit that give button and take a moment and make your love offering now, as opposed to waiting till afterwards. So go up to the website while you're waiting. Hi, Angela. And who is that? Sonia. Hello. Boy, I miss you. I miss everybody. And it's Lois. Yes. And hi, Lynn. So go up to the website and download or open up the bulletin for today. And I think we might even be singing a new song. Can't remember if we put the lyrics there or not. We'll see. But you'll certainly be able to follow along in the service a lot better. Hi, Bonnie and Wendy. Yay. Come on in. And we'll begin in a few minutes. So please, hi, Avni. Avni, give me a call, please. Please go and get the bulletin from the website. Take your time and perhaps give your love offering before the service. Avoid the crowds after the service. And talk amongst yourself, please, now and throughout the service. Please let us know you're here, make comments, send up those emojis, and we'll be back in a little bit. All right, thank you. And welcome again to Unity of Greater Hartford. My name is Reverend Christine Boylan, and it is so wonderful to see all of you today. Hi, Leah, and a bunch of other people there too. With Chris Gregory and Lori. Welcome, welcome. So if you didn't hear before, if you'd like a bulletin to better follow along, please go to our website, unityhartford.org, and right at the top where it talks about today's service, there's a link to get the bulletin. So you can open it up and better follow along today. And of course, throughout the service, please continue to make some comments. Hi, Kathy, and let us know that you're here, and talk to each other, and send up some emojis. Thank you. It's fun to have all of you with us today. And also in the sanctuary with me today is Carolyn Fisher, our music director. You just heard her playing. Yay, Carolyn. Our prayer chaplain ministry leader, Deborah Giddings, and you'll get to see her in a little bit. And our office manager, who is now the sound master, Tony Bensko. So if you remember, or if you've gotten the bulletin, you'll know that our opening statement is that unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And here at Unity, we welcome, value, and include all people. So welcome to all of you this morning. And let's begin now with an opening prayer, okay? See if you notice we have our Christ light here. There's certainly nothing magical about this Christ light. It's simply a reminder. It's a reminder that this light always is burning within you. It's what we sometimes refer to as that spark of divinity, the Christ, that perfect pattern of you, that God or the universe, divinity, spirit, source, whatever name you use. And so that is within you at all times. That light never goes out. So remember this as we pray today. So we turn today to that Christ light within. We hold ourselves, our family, our friends, our loved ones, all the first responders, all the essential retail workers, all the nurses, doctors, all the medical personnel, EMS, firefighters, police. We hold all of them in the highest light of love and knowing and affirming that the presence of God, as wisdom and life and wholeness and courage and strength lies right within them, just as it lies right within you. So today we hold that truth as our truth, and we use our power of faith to truly believe and live that. So today, we pray affirming that all of us and everyone listens to that still small voice within, living their faith and knowing that they are truly safe and well, for they are never separated from divinity. And for that knowing and that total realization, we are truly grateful. And so it is. Amen. Amen. So we have a few announcements today. We want to remind you that every Wednesday at 7 p.m. we are in the sanctuary for our Wednesday meditation healing service. It's from 7 to 7:30 p.m. So please join us. We would love to have you there. And now that you're on Facebook, make sure that you have clicked like and follow so that when we do go live, something's going to pop up and tell you that. And this coming up will be our last week for our daily word at noon on Zoom. And if you haven't yet done so, please join us. We'll be holding it tomorrow, even though it's Memorial Day, and we'll be holding it Monday through Friday at noon. The information for that Zoom meeting is on the front page of our website. And then starting on Tuesday evening, June 9th, I'll be holding a 6-week evening class on the 12 spiritual powers. Yeah, registration is on the homepage of our website, and that's, again, it's unityhartford.org, so please join us for that. Once you register, you'll get information for the Zoom class. And we're looking at other things now too, things that can take place during the day. And certainly, if you have any suggestions, please send me an email. And if you're joining us for the first time, or perhaps you've only been joining us since we've been on Facebook, take a moment and go to unityhartford.org. And there, one of the very first things on the homepage, it's right after the Sunday information, is an invitation to you to tell us who you are and to give us your email. And then once a week, you'll get an email from us, our newsletter, and it'll have everything that we're doing so that you don't miss a thing. And everything we're doing, of course, takes place on Facebook or Zoom. So, or you can just email me directly, Rev, R-E-V-C-H-R-I-S, RevChris, @unityhartford.org. Now, this past Thursday, our Board of Trustees met through Zoom and discussed whether to extend the shutdown of our building or to open as we had been planned on June 1st. The decision, which will be sent out in a letter and an email and posted on our website, was to continue to remain closed through the end of June. And at every monthly board meeting, we will review the medical, scientific, and government information and then make a decision for the next month. So we're going to be making this decision month to month because things are changing. And we want to be flexible to that. At the same time, we want to be very transparent and very responsive to everyone. So in the meantime, we're going to be forming different planning committees, and we'll be asking you to join one of them and help us gather information and create procedures for doing all the many things that we need to do when we are in a position to open. We have started talking about that, and we go, oh, you know what we could do? And then from that one little idea comes about 100 questions. So it's a multi-layered proposition to open in any way, even if it's outside. So the leaders of our different ministry teams have been invited to online Eastern region brainstorming sessions already. So soon we'll be asking the rest of the congregation to get involved. It's a time for all hands on deck. Certainly, if you would like to discuss the decision of the board, please feel free to email the board at board@unityhartford.org. We're so grateful for our thoughtful and prayerful board who always strives to work in harmony and in responsive to divine wisdom, and we are truly so blessed. So, now let's have some music. All right, I think we're ready for a break. Let's have some music for Carolyn Fisher. And Carolyn, as I turn this, what is our song for today?
So we're going to be starting with a new song called We Walk in Love. So you probably haven't heard this before, so it'll be your first time to get familiar with it. And this is a song from something called the Justice Choir Songbook, which is really interesting. So if you have some time on your hands, you can check that out, especially if you're a singer. And this song is about unity in action. We walk in love, united in purpose. We join our hands and lift up one voice. We speak the truth with strength and compassion, resounding with hope
God morning, Unity family. I'm Deborah Giddings. I am the ministry lead for the prayer chaplains of Unity of Greater Hartford, and I ask you to join me now as we affirm our statement of faith. I'm going to say a phrase and then ask you to repeat it with Carolyn. There is only one presence and one power.
There is only one presence and one power.
Active as the universe and as my life.
Active as the universe and as my life.
God the good, omnipotence. Amen.
God the good, omnipotence. Amen.
And now I'm going to read to you today's daily word. And the word for today is faith, one of my favorites. The affirmation is, I invest my faith only in possibilities for good. The parable of the talents of the Gospel of Matthew tells the story of a wealthy man entrusting sums of money to 3 of his servants before leaving on a journey. When the man returns, he praises and rewards the 2 servants who, through wise investments, have doubled the funds entrusted to them. A 3rd servant who, acting in fear, hid the money entrusted to him, receives no reward. The divine faculty of faith that is part of my spiritual inheritance is more valuable than money. I invest my faith wisely by believing and trusting that possibilities for good are present, even where good has not yet manifested. And I act on that belief. My positively directed faith brings rich rewards in consciousness. And the quote is, you have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master. Matthew 25, verse 21. Namaste. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's another piece to this. Let's just take a breath in. And I'm going to repeat the affirmation as we just take it into a moment of silence. I invest my faith only in possibilities for good. I invest my faith only in possibilities for good. I invest my faith only in possibilities for good. And so it is. Amen.
Well, tomorrow is Memorial Day, a day to remember and honor the men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. Now, Memorial Day began in the years following the Civil War and became an official federal holiday in 1971. Originally known as Decoration Day, it occurred on May 30th so as to avoid falling on any particular date of a battle. The Civil War, which ended in the spring of 1865, claimed more lives than any conflict in U.S. history, and for the first time required the establishment of the country's first national cemeteries. And so on the first Decoration Day, General James Garfield made a speech at Arlington National Cemetery, and 5,000 participants decorated the graves of the 20,000 Union and Confederate soldiers buried there. Originally, this day honored only those lost while fighting in the Civil War, but during World War I, it began to include all those who served and died in that particular military war. It's unclear where exactly this tradition originated. Numerous different communities may have independently initiated the memorial gatherings, and some records show that one of the earliest Memorial Days commemorations was organized by a group of freed slaves in Charleston, South Carolina, less than a month after the Confederacy surrendered in 1865. In previous years, cities and towns across the United States hosted Memorial Day parades, often incorporating military personnel and members of veterans organizations. Americans have also observed Memorial Day by visiting cemeteries and holding memorial services. On a less somber note, many people have taken weekend trips or thrown parties and barbecues on this holiday, perhaps because Memorial Day weekend unofficially marks the beginning of summer. This year, though, perhaps a very different summer for all of us. And each year on Memorial Day, a national moment of remembrance takes place at 3 p.m. So perhaps tomorrow, we all might pause, remember, and pray. For this is a time to remember. To remember all those Americans who lost their lives in or because of U.S. military action. And some of the numbers are really astounding. 508,332 died in or from the Civil War in the 1800s. 116,516 from World War I in 1917, 1918, and of course, some of those from the influenza. 405,399 in World War II, and that was from 1941 to 45. The Korean War, 54,246 in the early 1950s. And the Vietnam War, 1964 to 75, 90,220. And of course, many, many other deaths from smaller wars and battles. The full total of Americans lost who died in battle is 7,280,305 people, and perhaps even more. 7,280,305 people. Real people. An astounding number that is really difficult to understand or to hold on to. And this is a time to remember. Memorial Day, memorial service. And usually when I facilitate a memorial service, I like to think about the person's legacy. To me, this means the lesson that their life taught, or something about them that will always remain in our heart and our memory. At a memorial service, I ask people to think of one thing that you loved and admired about that person. That one aspect or characteristic that you might always want to remember. By bringing it into your consciousness and your own life, we create a living memorial. And so during that service, we would sit in silence and we would bring that characteristic into our minds and our hearts, for that is their legacy. And our task would be to keep that part of them alive in our hearts and in our lives, to aspire to live their legacy. And we know that this is a time to remember. So what is the legacy of these many lives, over 7 million? What is the one thing that they all might have in common, and we can hold in our hearts and bring into our own lives? For me, it has become courageous service. Courageous service. even if they were drafted, and many were. Yet most likely there was a time when they summoned up courage and became in service to their fellow soldiers, their country, or to others whom they loved. So how do we take this legacy of courageous service into our minds and our hearts, into our very souls, and live it? Or should we just have a barbecue? I mean, I have certainly done that in years past. But I'm a bit different this year. Aren't you? In 3 months, we have had almost 98,000 people die from this virus. 98,000 neighbors, friends, families, loved ones, co-workers, strangers die from this virus. In Connecticut alone, we're around 3,600, perhaps a little more. And we can barely stop to make that number real. I struggle to have a true appreciation of that many people. Someone said that 98,000 people, well, it's equivalent to a fully packed football stadium. Still, this is a day to remember. This year I find it more important than ever to take notice, to honor, to remember those who died, the over 7 million men and women who died in battle. This is a significant number, and we must remember. We must live their legacy of courageous service. Well, some will certainly join the military. That's not a necessary requirement. But to desire to live courageously and to aspire to live in service might actually be necessary. How can we do that? And how might the world be a better place if we do? If we don't, we might only remember abstract numbers, become numb to those numbers, have barbecues, parades. Nothing changes. And yet this is a day to remember. To turn the abstract into a reality. To not just spend a moment to remember at 3 p.m. tomorrow, but to choose to live our lives courageously and in service. To truly remember and to live the legacy. Courage. Unity co-founder Charles Filmer, in the Revealing Word, defines courage as a spiritual quality that enables one to remain poised and centered in God amidst great difficulties and danger. The realization that the Almighty God of the universe, and you might refer to that as spirit, divinity, source, principle, is a spiritual presence which is constantly striving to express in and through us, and fills us with new courage and a fearlessness that is beyond description. This spiritual courage brought into the world by you can transform any anxiety into helpful action. Perhaps those 7 million felt this type of fearlessness. Perhaps you at some point have felt this spiritual courage. Or perhaps today you will choose that type of courage, that courageous service. With consciously choosing this spiritual courage, the idea of being in service just comes naturally. Author Ram Dass and philosopher reminds us that we're here to awaken from the illusion of separateness. We are here to know and to live from oneness, from unity. We are here to remember. We move from, how can I help me and mine, to how can I help others? Martin Luther King Jr. wrote in speaking about the Good Samaritan in the Bible, the first question which the priest asked was, if I stop to help this man, what will happen to me? But the Good Samaritan reversed the question. If I don't stop to help this person, what will happen to them? Here the concern shifts from self to others, from separateness to oneness. Mahatma Gandhi wrote, the path of service can hardly be trodden by one who is not prepared to renounce self-interest. If we cultivate the habit of doing this service deliberately, our desire for service will steadily grow stronger and will make not only our own happiness, but of the world at large. So how might we all create a better world with courageous service? How might we all create heaven on earth? Today, make a conscious choice to remember and create a living memorial for those 7 million. Choose to desire to live courageously and then to live in service to others. And then tomorrow at 3 p.m., take time to remember. And then go enjoy that barbecue, even if it's a bit of a smaller gathering this year. For today, you have chosen to remember. You have chosen a life of courageous service. Namaste.
Namaste.
So, this is our time of blessing and offering. And earlier I spoke of, that if you wanted to give a tangible gift, and many of you still are, and we are so grateful for that. I'm thinking that you're giving from a true appreciation of these unity truths, of these unity teachings, of a true appreciation of our unity community. And that's the church, isn't it? All of us is the church. And we know that there will be a time when me and other staff will be at the door welcoming you in, and we want to be here for that. So please give of your tangible gifts. And you do that on our website, and there's a little button up in the right that says give. Just follow that and give. But there's also intangible gifts to give. And I think we might have always been doing this, but not so consciously. And so think of an intangible gift that you would like to give right now, to this, to everyone who's on Facebook, to our entire church community, wherever they are, whether they're in their pajamas or not. So think of that, and I'm going to hold that in my heart too. And so we're going to go and do our offering blessing, and I'm going to repeat a line and ask that you repeat the line after me, along with Carolyn. So, together. Let me see if I have this right. There we go. Divine love flowing as me.
Divine love flowing as me.
blesses and multiplies all that I am and have,
blesses and multiplies all that I am and have,
all that I give and receive.
all that I give and receive.
And so it is, amen. Go ahead, Carolyn.
And so it is, amen.
So we're now going to sing our Unity Peace song, followed by the prayer for protection, and then a final song by Carolyn, and then, perhaps we'll scan the pews for photos. Oh, and I have a really important message about next week, so don't leave. So let's sing our Unity Peace song. I'm just going to turn this so we can watch Carolyn. And there we are. There you are. Hi, Carolyn. So let's sing our Unity Peace song together. And now our prayer for protection. And I'm going to ask you to repeat a line along with Carolyn after me. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God.
The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God.
The power of God protects us. I am the power of God.
The power of God protects us. I am the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God.
The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Well, thank you, everyone, for being here today. I want to thank Deborah Giddings, our prayer chaplain leader. And if you do have a prayer request, please email that request to prayer request, and there's two R's in there, prayer request, at unityhartford.org. And the prayer chaplains will confidentially pray with you. I also want to thank our office manager / sound master, Tony Bensko, for being here today and helping us out. And of course, the wonderful Carolyn Fisher, who has one more song to sing. But before our final song, I want to invite you back here next Sunday. We have a special Sunday planned. We will be celebrating the 15th anniversary of our church building, along with Reverend Raymond Shea and his wife, Susan. They were the driving force to leave a cramped church space in West Hartford and to purchase the land and build this incredible church building. And I know you can't be in here with us, but please come and visit, and you'll see all the windows are decorated. And you can. Saturday, some people were keeping safe distance, but they were having a little gathering, and that's wonderful. And there's plenty of people who use our property as part of their walk, and we welcome all of you here. But next Sunday we'll still be on Facebook, and Reverend Shea and his wife will be joining us, and they're going to be talking about what it took to do that. I wonder how much faith that took. And at the end of Sunday service, we're going to be celebrating 7 new members with a new member ceremony. So I hope you'll come back next Sunday and join us. And now, Carolyn, what is our closing song today?
Our closing song is Stand Together by Faith Rivera and Harold Payne. Something great is happening, love has taken hold and it won't let go of us now. Something here is calling us forward, upward motion, raindrops in one ocean, roll on. Will you rise up with me today? Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. With the dream eyes calling, with the hope of a new day dawning, we're the ones who will make a difference. Let's stand together, share gifts with the world that's waiting for change that we're all creating. It's the moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Every day's a chance you can do something amazing to feel your passion blazing and shine. Paint with every vision, dance in new directions, explore new heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today. Lift up my voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Dream of your highest calling, be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who will make a difference. Let's stand together, share gifts with the world that's waiting for change.